Slayer is widely considered one of the most extreme and influential bands in the history of thrash metal, but their rise to legendary status was anything but ordinary. The band was formed in 1981 in Huntington Park, California by guitarist Kerry and drummer Dave Lombardo, who soon recruited guitarist Jeff Hanneman and bassist vocalist Tom Araya. At first, Slayer played covers of bands like Iron Maiden and Judas Priest in small clubs around Los Angeles, but it didn't take long for their sound to become something far more aggressive. While many metal bands of the early 1980s focused on melody and theatrics, Slayer pushed towards speed, darkness, and lyrical themes that shocked audiences. Their 1983 debut album Show No Mercy already hinted at the band's direction, combining lightning-fast riffs with dark imagery that immediately set them apart from the glam metal dominating MTV at the time. The album sold surprisingly well for an underground metal release, and helped establish Slayer as a rising force in the growing thrash metal scene that also included bands like Metallica and Megadeth. One of the things that made Slayer truly unique was the contrast between their music and their personalities. While their songs were filled with imagery of war, death, and horror, the band members themselves often described their lyrics as storytelling rather than ideology. Tom Araya, who delivered some of the most terrifying screams in metal history, was in reality known for being calm, friendly, and surprisingly soft-spoken off-stage. This contrast confused many critics during the band's early years, especially in the 1980s when moral panic around heavy metal was spreading across the United States. Parents groups and conservative organizations accused several metal bands of promoting violence or satanic messages, and Slayer quickly became one of the most controversial names in that discussion. Yet for fans, the controversy only strengthened the band's identity. Slayer represented something raw, uncompromising, and completely indifferent to mainstream expectations. In a decade dominated by commercial rock and glam metal aesthetics, Slayer stood as the exact opposite. Darker, faster, and far more aggressive. As the band continued developing their sound, their music became even faster, heavier, and more controversial. Albums like Hell Awaits in 1985 showed a darker and more complex direction, but it was their 1986 release Rain in Blood that changed extreme metal forever. Produced by legendary producer Rick Rubin, the album stripped the band's sound down to pure aggression. At just under 30 minutes long, Rain in Blood delivered relentless speed, razor-sharp riffs, and some of the most intense drumming ever recorded in metal. The opening track, Angel of Death, became infamous not only for its blistering speed, but also for its controversial lyrics about Nazi doctor Joseph Mengele, which sparked accusations that the band was promoting extremist views. In reality, Slayer repeatedly explained that their lyrics were meant to explore disturbing historical subjects, not glorify them. The controversy, however, only increased the band's reputation as one of the most dangerous and uncompromising acts in metal. Rain in Blood is now widely considered one of the most important and influential metal albums ever recorded, helping define the sound of extreme thrash and influencing countless bands across death metal, black metal, and modern extreme metal genres. Another reason Slayer's influence grew so rapidly was their relentless touring schedule. Throughout the late 1980s and early 1990s, the band spent an enormous amount of time on the road, building a reputation as one of the most intense live acts in heavy music. Their concerts were loud, chaotic, and unforgettable experiences where the energy between band and audience felt almost explosive. Slayer shows quickly became legendary for their mosh pits and the sheer aggression of the crowd, yet the band itself remained incredibly tight and precise on stage. Dave Lombardo's drumming, in particular, became a defining element of their live sound, combining incredible speed with remarkable control. Many drummers in extreme metal still cite Lombardo as one of the most important influences on modern metal drumming. At the same time, Jeff Hanneman and Kerry developed one of the most distinctive guitar partnerships in metal, trading sharp, chaotic solos and creating riffs that felt both violent and strangely memorable. That combination of precision, speed, and raw aggression helped Slayer stand apart, even within the already intense thrash metal movement. Throughout the late 1980s and 1990s, Slayer continued releasing powerful albums such as South of Heaven and Seasons in the Abyss, showing that the band could balance pure speed with darker atmosphere and heavier groove. Songs like Raining Blood became iconic metal anthems, instantly recognizable from the first seconds of their thunderous riffs. At the same time, the band built a reputation for some of the most intense live performances in heavy music, with chaotic crowds and an energy that few bands could match. Despite lineup changes and the tragic death of guitarist Jeff Hanneman in 2013, Slayer remained one of the defining bands of the so-called Big Four of thrash metal, alongside Metallica, Megadeth, and Anthrax. Their influence reached far beyond thrash itself, shaping the development of multiple extreme metal subgenres over the following decades. When Slayer announced their farewell tour in 2018, it marked the end of an era for one of the most uncompromising bands in metal history, yet their legacy remains undeniable. Slayer didn't just play thrash metal, they pushed it to its absolute limits, creating a sound so intense and aggressive that it permanently changed the direction of heavy music.